MBJ for today's name. You're on.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that they saw you there.
Well, I'm there and I'm there. My name is there, so I don't know what I'm waiting. God expecting to see.
Wonderful.
Good morning, MBJ colleagues.
Okay.
Good morning, everyone. We have a few persons already online. We're going to give the other participants approximately 5 more minutes to join us, so we crave your indulgence. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Camille Royce. I am the legal counsel of MBJ, and I extend to you a warm welcome to our airport forum for 2022, the first of two airport forums. The Airport Forum provides an opportunity for senior representatives of MBJ and Airports Authority of Jamaica to discuss and share key developments in the airport business with stakeholders and the wider community alike. Regrettably, the Honorable Minister of Transport and Mining, Mr. Audley Shaw, is unable to join us live this morning. However, he has sent a message which you will receive later on in this meeting. We are happy to have with us this morning Chairman of the Airports Authority of Jamaica, Mr. Mark Hart, Opposition Spokesperson on Transport and Mining, the Honorable Michael Phillips, Mr. Audley Diedrich, President and Chief Executive Officer of the Airports Authority of Jamaica, other directors of the board of AAJ and their executive team, as well as senior representatives of our major public and private stakeholder entities. You will now hear from Mr. Diedrich and then the Honorable Minister of Transport and Mining, Mr. Audley Shaw. Following the Minister's message, our own Shane Monroe, Chief Executive Officer of MBJ, will provide an overview of air service and infrastructural developments at the airport, and Mrs. Sharon Hislop Holt, MBJ's Commercial, Business Development and Marketing Manager, will give you an update on the airport's commercial program for 2022. Before we get started, please be advised that everyone is muted and you're invited to submit any questions you may have via the Q&A window, which should be at the bottom right-hand corner of your screens. Questions and comments will be addressed at the end of the agenda. Thank you. I will now turn the floor over to Mr. Diedrich. Thank you.
Good morning, Madam Chairman. Honorable Audley Shaw, Minister of Transport and Mining, even in his absence, but he is represented here this morning. Opposition Spokesman on Transport, Mr. Michael Phillips. Chairman of the Airports Authority, Mr. Mark Hart, and members of the Airports Authority Board that may be in attendance just now. Members of the team from the Ministry of Transport and Mining who may be in attendance as well. Also greet MBJ team led by the CEO, Mr. Shane Monroe, and members of the GAP team who may be in attendance led by CEO Raul Revuelta. Also members of the AAJ team, our esteemed airport stakeholders, other guests that are in attendance, I greet you all. Colleagues, as we look back on the ravages of the COVID-19 pandemic, with all its challenges and the devastating effect it has had on the world travel and tourism industry, including Jamaica, it is reasonable to say that our travel and tourism industry is now in the rapid drive phase of the recovery from the impacts of the pandemic. When the pandemic struck in March 2020, resulting in the closure of our borders to international inbound traffic, our aviation traffic fell to almost zero, despite the reopening of the borders approximately 3 months later, on June 15, 2020. Our best forecast for the recovery to pre-COVID level was then put at 5 to 6 years, that is to 2025-26. This protracted recovery was classified with a U-curve, signifying the extended period at the base, therefore a sharp recovery period towards the end. This U-curve is uncharacteristic of the normal V-curve, which typifies traffic recovery from any shock event in the air travel industry. As the recovery process slowly evolved, supported by the various protocols implemented across the globe, including Jamaica, our outlook on the recovery horizon was being adjusted to reflect a more cautiously optimistic recovery timeline. Thus, for 2020, the most heavily hit year, Jamaica's aviation traffic was 2.2 million passengers, or 67% below the 2019 level of 6.5 million passengers. The recovery continued into 2021 with total traffic of 3.4 million passengers, or 52% of the 2019 traffic level. This current year, 2022, has shown the sharpest climb on the recovery curve, and hence my characterizing this year as the rapid drive phase of the recovery process. From a sluggish start in the first quarter of 2022, our aviation traffic, driven as usual by tourism traffic, which represents over 80%, has taken on a rapid growth, such that for the month of May and June, the traffic for MBJ has equaled that of the corresponding months of 2019. Based on this aggressive rate of growth for 2022, the current forecast is for Jamaica's aviation traffic to hit 5 million passengers, or 77% of the 2019 level, by December 2022 of this year. Furthermore, given this forecast for 2022, it is now expected that Jamaica's aviation traffic will hit the 2019 level of 6.5 million passengers by December 2023. This is instead of the originally forecasted timeline of 25-26, all of 3 years earlier. Our airport operators, including MBJ, has responded to the ongoing pandemic in a strident and preemptive manner, joining forces with the initiatives of the measures of the Government of Jamaica, Airports Authority of Jamaica, the Tourism Fraternity, to accommodate the return of aviation at a rapid pace. However, the recovery of aviation traffic, both for Jamaica and on the wider global scale, has not been without teething pains, ranging from manpower shortages, equipment reductions, logistical challenges, among other things, all leading to congestions, delays, cancellations, and impaired customer service quality in our airports. We must therefore now join forces to attack these challenges and to return the industry to the seamless and efficient customer service quality which existed prior to the pre-pandemic levels, and even surpass that level by virtue of the knowledge and the technological gains coming out of the pandemic. MBJ and its stakeholders must now be exuding confidence and gratefulness for this positive rate of recovery, especially the concessionaires who had just signed their newly tendered agreements at the beginning of the pandemic. What palpitation that must have caused. And now, of course, the sweet victory of perseverance and faith in the MBJ SIA airport business is proving to be a good decision to have stayed on board. The AAJ therefore wish to recognize and commend MBJ and its stakeholders, the airlines, the concessionaires, the ministries, departments, and agencies of government such as the transport and mining, health, national security, tourism, JCAA, PICA, customs, port security, and others, for their resilience and for the stalwart role that they have played in the recovery process. The pandemic has significantly impaired the traffic and by extension the revenues of MBJ. Despite this setback, however, MBJ continues to implement its major capital programs that were planned. While it is opportune to do these works in this period of reduced traffic, more importantly, it speaks to the commitment of MBJ and by extension, its shareholders' gap and vantage to continue developing SIA in order to meet international regulatory standards and to provide optimum quality of service to its users. It is by virtue of these constant improvements, supported by consistent quality of service, that SIA has been named the Caribbean's leading airport in 2021 by the World Travel Awards scheme. The distinction of copying this award for the 14th time and the 13th consecutive year, a year in which the travel and tourism industry was decimated by the incidence of the COVID-19 pandemic, is testament to the resilience and authenticity of SIA, a feat for which the concessionaire, MBJ, and all SIA stakeholders is to be commended. We now eagerly await the announcement of the 2022 World Travel Award, which is expected in August, and that MBJ will retain the coveted title for yet another year. As we look to the future, with MBJ having another 11 years under the current concession agreement, the AAJ is confident that we are recovering better and stronger from the COVID-19 pandemic, and that MBJ will take SIA into even greater records of achievement. In conclusion, we must note, stakeholders, that we have just seen and witnessed the return of Sumfest 2022, having last staged that event in 2019 as a symbol and signal that we are back on track. We also saw the glory of our athletes at the recently concluded World Championships and the achievement that they have left on record for us, with a record number of medals and, of course, ranking second in the world in terms of points. No small feat for a country like ours. Of course, as we look now to Emancipation Week coming up next week, with our independence and emancipation celebrations, let us celebrate our achievements, ladies and gentlemen, and build back better and stronger going forward. Thank you.
Thank you, President Dietrich. We appreciate your comments on the overview of the projected growth and return of traffic to the airport. We are grateful for the confidence that Airport Authority of Jamaica continues to have in MBJ as the operator and manager of the Sangster International Airport. And we look forward to continuing to work with you to address the challenges and the opportunities commensurate with the return in traffic. Thank you again. We will now hear from the Minister of Transport and Mining, the Honorable Audley Shaw.
Master of Ceremonies, MBJ Airport Limited, Chief Executive Officer, Shane Monroe. Aviation stakeholders, ladies and gentlemen, good day. I am pleased to bring greetings at the MBJ Airports Limited Forum today, and thank you for your presence here as we receive pertinent updates on the Sangster International Airport. Let me first commend MBJ Airports Limited for their astute management of the Sangster International Airport, and as they continue to maintain dialogue with stakeholders, keeping the lines of communication open despite the challenges we face in these uncertain times. I've had the privilege of visiting the airport twice since my assignment as Minister of Transport and Mining, and each time I was impressed with the developments being made and found myself excited to see the outcomes and how they are received. Since the privatization of the Sangster International Airport in 2003, Montego Bay Airports Limited has undertaken significant improvement works to the third largest airport in the region. This airport serves as the primary gateway to Jamaica and facilitates the transit of more than 85% of tourists arriving on island, and served over 4.7 million total passengers in 2019. With the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic, general aviation took a hit. However, recovery efforts have been exemplary, especially in the past months. With the reopening of our borders, we have seen an increase in travel and anticipate that the Christmas season will see a further increase in air traffic. We welcome this increase as we work to recover stronger. We must maintain the safety measures in order to protect the liberty we currently enjoy through air travel. A new threat is at our doorsteps, and we must be vigilant and extremely careful to apply the lessons learned from the COVID-19 pandemic to battle and contain this virus. The government of Jamaica has been working with all our aviation stakeholders to ensure that Jamaica is open for tourists to come and enjoy the island and all we have to offer. In this regard, I am pleased with the positive trend in arriving traffic for 2022 and only expect greater numbers in the upcoming year. I applaud MBJ Airports for its commitment to ensuring a safe, passenger-centric, sustainable, and efficient airport operation time and time again. This is evident in the renovations, upgrades, and expansion being undertaken to develop the airport terminal into a modern and functional international facility, exceeding the expectations of passengers while being uniquely Jamaican. Over the past months, Sangster International Airport has welcomed American Airlines direct service from Austin, Texas, as well as seen expansion of connections with Frontier Airlines with new services from Tampa, Florida. The airport has maintained a standard that compares with those of more developed countries and continues to shine through its outstanding operations. For our part, the government of Jamaica pledges its support in continuing our airport development program to include the Sangster International Airport runway expansion, shoreline protection, and expanding the arrivals terminal. Similarly, at the Norman Manley Airport, shoreline protection works continues, and a new police station at Ian Fleming International Airport has been opened this year. Work continues to have the Lionel Densham Aerodrome upgraded, while we have completed works at the Negril Aerodrome, including a new fire station and resurfaced runway, and the Port Antonio and Tinson aerodromes, even as we are working to drive more business at the Ian Fleming International Airport. In fact, the IFIA this year welcomed direct flights from Inter-Caribbean Airways out of Turks and Caicos Islands, as well as a first-class direct service from QCAS Aéreo out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. These were truly momentous occasions, signaling a new eve in Jamaica's aviation sector and a boost to the tourism product. We have a joint task force between the Airports Authority of Jamaica, AAJ, Ministry of Transport and Mining, MTM, Jamaica Civil Aviation Authority, JCAA, working with American Owners and Pilots Association, AOPA, to make it easier to fly into Jamaica on private planes and therefore increasing general aviation activity. Ladies and gentlemen, the government of Jamaica, through the Ministry of Transport and Mining and its agencies, reiterates its commitment to making aviation in Jamaica a force to be reckoned with, and pledges its commitment to the supporting and developing the sector. I thank you.
Thank you, Minister. We here at MBJ are indeed grateful for the government of Jamaica, as well as the Ministry of Transport and Mining support for the continued development of aviation with their support of our infrastructural developments and projects. We will now turn the podium over to our CEO, Mr. Shane Monroe. Thank you.
Honorable Michael Phillips, Opposition Spokesperson on Transport, Mr. Mark Hart, Chairman, Airports Authority of Jamaica, Mr. Audley Diedrich, President, Airports Authority of Jamaica, Board of Directors of the AAJ, and their executives and staff, Ms. Camille Needham, Executive Director of the Jamaica Hotel and Tourist Association, and Ms. Sonia Simpson, representing Mayor Leroy Williams of the St. James Municipal Corporation. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. As MBJ Airports Limited Chief Executive Officer, I am pleased to welcome you to our first Airport Forum of 2022. Here we are in the third consecutive year of our Airport Forum in a virtual format, but hopefully, as the COVID pandemic loosens its grasp, it will be our last. And we will be able to host the next event in person. Nevertheless, just as the pandemic, or during the pandemic, we have had to adapt and pivot, and we embrace the technology that allows us to broadcast our airport forum on social media for the first time, a feature that may remain permanently with us in the future. We welcome our online viewers. Sangster International Airport remains the gateway for tourism to Jamaica and a pearl of Montego Bay for infrastructure development. MBJ has invested over US $280 million in airport infrastructure. And even during the pandemic, while the country was on lockdown, MBJ continued to invest in Sangster International Airport, the benefits of which are being realized by passengers just in time as the recovery in the traffic occur. And we will expand further on this today. Critical investments executed during the pandemic include over US $1.4 million on air conditioning chillers, the first phase of the solar PV project valued at over $1.1 million US dollars, aircraft fire and response vehicles for safety over US 1.6 million, and the completion of over US 4 million in project to upgrade the outbound baggage system, among other capital projects. Additionally, we embarked on the first phase of terminal expansion with the departures area project. Our focus for 2022 is to continue to lay the foundation for long-term economic recovery and stability, focusing on safety and security, financial performance, innovation and efficiency, human capital development, environmental and social responsibility, and passenger experience transformation. MBJ remains committed to ensuring that MBJ and Sangster International Airport is in terms of aeronautical statistics, we are now at 2.1 million passengers to June 2022, 120% increase compared to 2021. However, 17% reduction compared to 2019. In terms of aircraft movements, we have had 19,253 aircraft movements, an increase of 51% compared to last year, 2021, but a 14% reduction compared to 2019. So certainly we are seeing the recovery in aircraft movement and the recovery in passengers compared to 2021, but we are still yet to reach the levels of 2019 year to date. Cargo has a similar performance, 20% lower than 2019 at 2,900 tons. In terms of passenger traffic, though, we continue to see the recovery from January of this year, and that graph on the screen shows the growth in passenger traffic from January, below the levels of 2019, but the convergence in May and June, where we are seeing similar levels of traffic to pre-COVID. Overall, year to date, we are 17% below pre-COVID levels. In terms of market share, we are looking at the United States, Canada, Great Britain, and Europe. The United States traffic has recovered very well. We are 4% below 2019. Interestingly, the Canadian traffic is not yet where it used to be, 54% below 2019. Europe as well, is 76% below 2019, and traffic from GB, from Great Britain or the UK, is 4% below. Of course, we know of the existing challenges in Europe, which has prevented the recovery of traffic to that region. Our top routes, JFK, New York is now our top route. This is a spin compared to 2019, where we would have had Toronto as our top route. Now it's led by JFK, Atlanta, Toronto, Miami, Charlotte, Fort Lauderdale, Newark, Baltimore, Orlando, and Philadelphia. Of course, dominated by US routes. 79% of our traffic is now from the United States, 10% from Canada, 9% from the United Kingdom, and 1% out of Europe, and the remainder nationals, Jamaican traffic, or elsewhere in the region. In terms of airline share, year to date, of course, dominated by US carriers, top carriers being American Airlines, followed by Delta, JetBlue, Southwest, United Airlines, TUI Airways, which has restarted service strongly, Spirit Airlines, and Air Canada. Air service development continues to be a focus for MBJ. We have had a very strong partnership with the Jamaica Tourist Board and Jamaica Vacations. And during the pandemic, fortunately for MBJ, we have seen new routes into the country. And that trend continues this year. We have Allegiant out of Cincinnati once weekly as of May 2022. Spirit also launched service from Philadelphia 3 times weekly as of May 22. And American Airlines out of Austin, 1 time weekly as of June 2022. And finally, Frontier, which has expanded rapidly in Montego Bay, launching their service from Tampa 2 times weekly as of June 22. In terms of infrastructure projects, we are focused on many capital development works this year. And of course, the runway extension project, which is being executed in collaboration with the government of Jamaica, is well underway and highly visible, certainly from the public road at this stage. This project involves the extension of the runway by 408 meters and associated projects, including the realignment of Kent Avenue. That new road, no longer is it just an image on the screen, but that road has actually opened to the public and is now in use serving the community of White House. Additionally, the jet bridge, the bridge to the JDF camp and IAM Jet Center, no longer an image on the screen only, but now also open for public use. The runway project is well underway. This image shows the construction of the runway end safety area, or RESA, and that project, or this runway extension project, will continue on to the second quarter of 2023. Here we can see the construction of the drains. These will be on the north and south end of the runway. And associated project under these works also include the expansion of taxiway Echo. Here we can see the installation of the jet blast fence and the extension of the apron, and this will allow us to accommodate additional wide-body aircraft in this area. This is a trend we see continuing as we go along and recovering the pandemic, where airlines are choosing to upgrade their aircraft. The departures area expansion is also a major project for us. This showed us where we began in the pandemic, and now we have come almost to the end of this very important project for MBJ, adding an additional 2,700 square meters to the facility. The departure lounge will offer more seating, better natural light, entertainment, and new and exciting retail offerings. The stores will be more attractive and easily accessible, offering high quality items and creating a memorable experience for passengers enjoying their last moments in Jamaica. The benefits also extend to an increase in the size of the baggage makeup area utilized by airlines. And as this image shows, it really brings the natural light into the space, and the aircraft, they are almost seemingly within touching distance if you are seated in that area. Another major project for us is the solar PV project, and the goal of this project is to reduce MBJ's reliance on power from the energy grid and its carbon footprint in a sustainable manner. We remain fully committed to our efforts in environmental sustainability. The initial 1 megawatt solar system was installed on the east concourse roof and is now fully operational, with the next 2 megawatt phase under construction now in the car park area. We will continue to invest in renewable energy, and this is a focus of a study with our consultants on further increasing the size of our solar PV installation. Other projects for 2022 include the replacement of our common use passenger processing equipment. We are adding new feed screens, new self-service kiosks, and new equipment throughout the entire departures and arrivals journey. We're also replacing our check-in and gate counters. We are also rehabilitating our baggage carousels in the customs hall. We will also be working on the West Concourse rehabilitation. Also included in that project is the gate 6 and 7 area. We will also work on the East Concourse retail project, and that project will commence in the third quarter of this year. We're also renovating all of our restrooms in the airport. This carries them to the same design standard that we first implemented in the check-in area. So we are renovating the restrooms in the ground transportation hall, public arrivals, in baggage claim, at gate 1. All those restrooms will match the same standard that we have implemented recently in other areas of the airport. We're also working on extending the arrivals canopy area. That project is well underway in terms of design. Our engineers have met with the users of that area. That project will also start in the third quarter of 2022. As the traffic improves, we are working with all our stakeholders, our airlines, security personnel, customs, immigration, and ground handlers on improving, meeting, and exceeding the optimum level of service. We have onboarded additional customer service staff for this peak summer period, and we are working with the airlines to adopt the latest technology deployed at MBJ, with more airlines transitioning to the use of self-service kiosks for issuing boarding passes and bag tags. We also recently organized a job fair for all the agencies at the airport, which was extremely well attended. Over 1,000 people screened for various positions at different agencies around Sangster International Airport. COVID-19 has taught us that digital transformation must be a priority. And our goal is to introduce touchless and seamless passenger processing technology for both departures and arrivals. For example, already today, and perhaps not well known, is that you can bypass the entire check-in process using your mobile boarding pass if you have no bags to drop off and head straight to the security checkpoint. Also already functional is our off-site check-in facility at the Montego Bay Cruise Ship Pier for sea-to-air passengers. And the next stage is for us to deploy biometrics. We are already investing for the future in this area with all of our 50 newly acquired self-service kiosks equipped for biometrics. MBJ intends to reshape the passenger journey by implementing next-generation technology to allow the airport to be well-positioned to address post-COVID-19 requirements. MBJ remains committed to exceeding the level of service requirements and will continue to prioritize investments in technological efficiencies to address facility requirements and best practices post-COVID. We now move on to the next phase of our airport development, the airport transformation. And this project is built up on our master plan with our vision to be and to continue to be a leading tourist destination, exceeding our passengers' expectations while being uniquely Jamaican. And working with our consultants, we have developed plans for the airport in the short, medium, and long term, even beyond the life of the concession, which ends in the next 10 years. We are already envisioning the future development of Sangster International Airport to ensure we remain the premier airport in the Caribbean and continue to be recognized globally as a leading tourist destination airport. The major projects in phase 1 will include the West Pier renovation, full renovation of gates 1 to 7, including additional hold room capacity, the East Concourse expansion, the Air to Sea lounge, the expansion of the immigration and outbound security area and the check-in hall, and also the introduction of departure and arrivals orientation zones. Of course, the design here is focused on sense of place. Our intention, certainly, as we develop Sangster International Airport, is to ensure that the designs are aligned with Jamaica and what's best about Jamaica, giving our arriving passengers a taste of what will come in terms of discovering what's on the island, and in terms of our departing passengers, the memories of the island certainly should resonate in what they see, in what they hear in terms of the music over our public address system, and the experience with the offerings of our concessionaires. The images shown on the screen will reflect the new Gate 1 to 7 renovation project. So this is a full renovation of this space, the ceiling, lighting, tiles, column cladding, the entire area here will be renovated to this new design standards. Of course, the goal here is to create a unique look and feel that sets Jamaica apart and creates a very memorable experience. We are very excited about this project, and it brings this western wing of the airport in line with other work that we are completing now in the central area. Another major project is the Air to Sea lounge. This is the provision of a dedicated waiting area for Air to Sea passengers who currently wait in the arrivals corridor. It will have access to a new apron bus lounge or bus loop, removing the need to close one of our gates for cruise operations. The Air to Sea lounge provides over 900 square meters of passenger waiting area, new restrooms in line with the sense of place concept, and improving the passenger experience for both cruise and regular passengers through removing congestion. We are also working on the East Concourse expansion. This will include the expansion of the gate hold room capacity in the East Concourse. As the image shows on the screen, we'll be expanding to the north of the East Concourse and to the south as well. The north between gates 13 and 15, adding an additional 450 square meters of hold room space and another 240 square meters to the south of that area as well. Again, the expansion will be in line with the sense of place passenger experience improvements. Additional space will also be available on the apron level for ground handling or other tenants. The boomerang expansion, as we call it, as you can see the shape of the building, the current immigration, is like or akin to a boomerang, is another major project for us in this phase. This project will be executed in 3 main phases. The first will involve the realignment of the landside roads, and this project will not only focus on realigning the road for the expansion, but we'll see to the expansion of the public car park area, the removal of the existing service station, removal of the existing car park area. We will also have to demolish the existing water fountain and temporarily displace the I Love Montego Bay sign to accommodate this expansion. The expansion, this boomerang area as we call it, accommodates security screening, immigration facilities, departures, and arrivals orientation zone. The immigration hall will be expanded from 1,300 square meters to 2,600 square meters, essentially doubling the size of the immigration hall as it is today. We are also expanding the security screening area from 1,090 square meters to 2,520 square meters, over 2 times the size of the existing area today, and increasing the number of security lanes from 8 to 10 and up to 12, providing capacity for growth. We're also introducing departures orientation zone, an additional 1,250 square meters for passengers flowing into the terminal and being able to decide on where they will go next in the passenger journey. All of this is in line with the sense of place concept and improving the passenger experience for all our arriving and departing passengers. The images on the screen show the rendering of this development, the outbound security area. This is the shot of the rendering showing the lead into the outbound security area. Inside the security screening area, the expanded immigration hall, of course, all the passenger flows will converge into one location before entering the large expansion of the immigration hall, and this is the arrivals orientation zone. The final image on the screen shows a rendering of the outside view of the Sangster International Airport, completely new facade, all glass, introducing lots of natural light into the space and continuing the design work that we have executed with the central retail area. Our goal is to continue to transform Sangster International Airport into and to stay ahead of the competition, certainly so that it can be classed as a world-class facility. The next phase of the development, phase 2 and phase 3, follows phase 1. Phase 1 will be executed by 2024. Following that, phase 2 and 3 projects include the expansion of the arrivals hall, the west expansion, the realignment of all our roads landside, the introduction of new roads from the east and the west into the airport compound, and also a canopy that will act as coverage wrapping the entire front facade of the airport. Passenger experience transformation is also a key focus for us in 2022. Our intention here is to ensure that all points in the passenger journey, the departures journey and the arrivals journey, deliver exceptional hospitality class service to our passengers. And we're being very deliberate in this area. We have now a customer experience coordinator within MBJ solely focused on developing this program. The goal of this project for 2022 will include a customer experience training program for all airport employees. Certainly, we want to focus on creating wow moments for all our passengers and introduction of MBJ's CX or Customer Experience Excellent Awards. Our focus is also on the community, and we have been involved with the Flankers community through their primary school in a very strong way, and also the White House community where we had our Labor Day project. The community needs the airport, and the airport also needs the community. Our intention is to prioritize in 2022 opportunities that advance the community's social, environmental, and economic conditions that are also sustainable and provide long-lasting impact. To that end, this year we will launch a community training initiative to provide skills training for individuals in nearby communities to the benefit of not just those individuals, but their families and the wider community's long-term growth and development. This project will include establishing a community training center here on the property of MBJ. I want to use this opportunity to thank our MBJ staff who remain committed to success and excellence. I also wanted to thank our entire airport community, airlines, ground handlers, ground transportation providers, immigration, customs, or concessionaires, Clumber Bay, or Red Cap porters, who continue to work with us hand in hand to improve the quality of service we provide to our passengers. If we offer excellence in passenger experience, Jamaica has a competitive advantage in our people and culture, allowing us to be ranked among the best regionally and globally. Every step of the passenger journey on arrival and departure is an opportunity to win the heart of the visitor so that they will choose to visit Jamaica over and over again. In conclusion, we commend and extend our appreciation to those that are part of Team MBJ and Team Sangster, who continue to embrace excellence in customer service and continuously seek to improve the passenger experience. We look forward to the exciting outlook for Sangster International Airport for the rest of 2022 and beyond. Thank you for listening.
Good morning, all. Duly observed, and I will be providing an update on the retail program development coming out of the RFP published in December 2019. So the RFP submissions were due in March of 2020, and this was just after the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic. We, however, received 110 submissions. And of course, just as we were, persons were a little bit apprehensive as to, should they change the submissions that they had put forward or were proposing. And we told them, just submit as if there was no change. We were using 2019 traffic as well as historical traffic. And we worked with these concessionaires throughout the pandemic, and they have been completing the construction of their stores. Some stores are now opened, and I will go through that in greater details. So what you're seeing now is the retail expansion program. That is 2,700 square meters of new space, and this would house a new food and beverage, the new food court for food and beverage concepts, and we would have 29 new retail outlets throughout the departures concourse. As you can see, the space is fairly large. We would have larger stores with larger storefronts, as well as more seating to make the passenger wait more comfortable and increase the dwell time in this location. In February 2022, we opened the new food court, and the brands which were located in the previous food court, they were relocated here. As you can see, we have very high ceiling, we have natural lighting coming in, more seating, which this picture is when it was just opened, but more seating will be added to this space. And we have seen where passengers are being attracted to this area. So coming up to the central area, passengers, they are drawn to the natural lighting and the much more spacious area. This is a rendering of the other concepts to be added to the food court. So on the left is a Marley restaurant, and earlier Mr. Monroe alluded to a sense of place, which we want to ensure is part of our retail program. So with the Marley restaurant, definitely that will be, it's a sit-down restaurant. The bus that you're seeing there will actually be a bus that will be in that location, and we are sure this will create an opportunity for lots of photos, Instagrammable moments. The bar is just behind, and on the right is where the brands are currently now located. So the fit out of the other locations are currently ongoing. This is a closer view of the bar and the Marley restaurant. Here we are seeing the green area in the middle. That's a herb tower. Herb as in the spices and so on that's used in the food and beverage concept. So we'll also have 2 quick service restaurants. So we'll have a sushi bar as well as a smoothie concepts. Those will complement the rest of the food and beverage offering in the new food court. We opened the central area on a phased basis. We want to ensure that there were still retail available for passengers to get their souvenir products. And the next few photos will be of new stores opened in the central area. So this is of the Tough Gong store, which carries Bob Marley branded products. You can see also the rendering, the mural on the wall. That has been a hit with the passengers coming through. Very beautiful store, and we see passengers stopping there, making their purchases, as well as taking photos at the mural. Coffee and Spice is another new concept opened. Again, with ensuring sense of place. We could not have a store in the airport in Jamaica which did not have a coffee concept. And this store existed prior, and it's much larger now. It has a much wider storefront, and a very beautiful store again. Reggae Mart is also a new concept, new store in the central area, and they carry Jamaican packaged treats and food. So they carry some coffees, teas, spices, condiments, all the products that persons would definitely want to take back from Jamaica. And if you notice some of these stores, one of the goals that we had of this area was for some standardization in terms of cohesive look and feel. So in terms of the signage, there was a certain dimension which we gave to the concessionaires as to how they would design their signs in terms of sign and so on. These are some concepts on the West Concourse. So while it is not a newly developed area, the space has been renovated with these new concepts. So we have Spirit of Jamaica, which carries souvenir items, as well as the Hudson News, which is an international brand carrying convenience products. These concepts are new concepts in the East Concourse. So we have Jamaica Aromatics. They carry 100% Jamaican-made aromatic products, and also streetwear, which is also all locally branded souvenir items. We also have Harley Davidson. So a part of our program, we have local brands as well as international brands. So we have a Harley Davidson Jamaica store as well as a Flights of Fantasy in the East Concourse. We also have a cigar store located in the East. A part of the program also includes some kiosks, and this kiosk is a Tortuga kiosk in the central area. This was the first kiosk opened in the central space. And moving into the east, we have more kiosks. So one of the main opportunities of the kiosk is to allow maybe new business owners to try new products. So they're small, most of them are about 100 square feet. Most of them are located in close proximity to the gates. They're very open, as you can see. So passengers do not have to worry about, missing their flights if they move away to go back to the central space. But most of the kiosks are located inside, closer to the gates. The next set of stores to be open is the main duty-free in the central area. And similar to how it exists now, passengers will proceed from the security checkpoint to the upper level, as you can see here, towards the duty-free store. So just at the entrance, there will be some monitors. So we'll have the flight information display screens. Passengers can check what time their flights will be boarding. We'll have a time to gate. There'll also be a digital screen showing the brands that's available in the entire retail program. We'll also have a map of the entire retail program, an interactive map where passengers can actually go, touch, search for a product, or they can search for services such as a restroom, the gate location, or a shop, a specific shop. This map will also have on our website, and passengers can utilize that, and it shows directions on how to get to various locations in the airport. Do-Free will also have a reserve and collect system. They currently have that in place where passengers do not have to wait until they get to the airport to actually make a purchase. They can reserve their duty-free items online, and the items would be waiting for collection upon them getting to the airport. And that has been working out very well so far, and that will continue. Along that line, we are also looking to implement an e-commerce marketplace for all the concessions on airport. Especially with the pandemic, we have seen a trend moving towards online shopping, and reports have shown that although passengers will still in an airport environment have some impulse shopping, we see that about 80% of travelers actually make a decision to purchase prior to their travel. And so we want to capitalize on this and maximize the opportunity for the concessions here at the airport. And so we're working we're actually still in discussions with some banks as well as service provider for this e-commerce marketplace. So similar to how the layout is now, the duty-free will actually be a walk-through shop. So it will be much larger than it is now. We have 2 locations currently, one in the west, one in the east. The one in the east will be much smaller than it is currently, and the one in the central will be expanded. So passengers will go through, and you have to actually walk through the shop and then end up in the central space and then make a decision there whether you go to the east concourse or to the west concourse. Just some other renderings of what the duty-free store will look like. So we have here, of course, again, couldn't have a duty-free shop in Jamaica without a rum brand. So this is Rum Vibes here. Johnny Walker, Appleton Estate. And you can see just very, very open, a lot of lighting, and just a lot of space for passengers to get through. Tobacco, as well as electronics and confectionery. One of the other things that we have been working with the concessionaire Dufree, they will be putting in additional cash counters, as well as having, so in addition to the reserve and collect, they'll be having a much larger number of cash registers than currently operates today. So the next set of stores will be located in the former food court, and actually this week we anticipate handing over the locations to the concessionaires for fit out. So we have Cool Kids Stuff, as the name suggests, carrying kids products. Again, you can see a very open storefront, very vibrant, a lot of lighting. Sharky's will be carrying souvenir products, gift items, and that will also be located in the former food court location. Island Chic, this is a boutique carrying resort wear type clothing and accessories. And we also have House of Diamond, which will be opened in a few months. This is a rendering of the bijou store that will come on stream later this year. And also Walk Good, which will carry local Jamaican craft items and souvenir. And we have another kiosk that will be located in the central area, Solaris, which will carry technology products. So the schedule of activities for all these locations, so as I mentioned, so the duty-free, the main duty-free in the central is scheduled to be opened by the end of August. The specialty retail stores in the former food court, which were just shown, those should be opened by October 2022. And the food court and the other stores in the central area are due to be completed December of this year. And the East Concourse also, that space which now houses only the duty-free store, will have 5 shops in that location, and that is slated to be opened December 2022. We also have some commercial opportunities that's currently available. So on the left is the pre-security area. Some persons may know it's the former Island Grill space, and that location is available. We think that space could be utilized for serving not just only airport users, but also the wider community. So whatever concession is in that space could run beyond the normal operating hours of the airport. And with this space, we are sure this would provide, a safe, secure space for the public to enjoy. Also, post-security, just in the area highlighted in the newly built area, we have, so Club Mobay will be having a second lounge on the upper level, and just next to that, a space is available for a commercial opportunity. So if there's anyone interested, feel free to make contact with us on these locations. There's also advertising opportunity at MBJ. So on the left, that's a digital screen, 70 inches, where 10-digit videos can be run. And we also have, well, just different medium used for advertising. So on the right, those are tension fabric displays, as well as we have brochure racks, etc. So again, anyone interested in advertising. And with us back to 2019 numbers, we have, this will give visibility to over 4 million passengers, almost 4.5 million passengers who traverse our airport. So definitely we have a high dwell time here at the airport, so this is definitely a great opportunity for advertising here at the airport. We have approximately 7,000 persons employed on airport, and we try as best as possible to engage those persons as well as the wider community. One of the activities that we had at the end of 2019 was a run walk, 5K run walk, and we had 700 persons signed up for this. This was the first time we were doing it, and the feedback was overwhelming, and we had all plans of continuing and making this an annual event. However, with COVID, that just did not materialize. However, we think we're back at that place where we can now host this event again, and we think for a major event, this would be really great to have. It's a charitable event, and the proceeds will go towards an academic scholarships for persons working on the airport, children of persons working on the airport, as well as persons in the surrounding communities. So the date set is September 10th. It's a Saturday morning. We want to try to start at about 5:30. We know a lot of persons working at the airport would like to participate, and so we would want them to enjoy and then get to work. When we had the event, it was a 5K, and the route was from the commercial pickup area to Flankers stoplight. And we know that there are some avid runners who do not want to loop, to do 2 5Ks to make a 10. So there have been requests to extend this to a 10K, and we are in discussions to have that extended. So the route would extend to the intersection of the Witter Village Burger King intersection there. We encourage all companies, agencies to sign up, be a sponsor of the event, pay for your staff. Different sponsorship packages would provide different number of persons being able to attend, as well as marketing opportunities. Again, this race will be a timed event with running events again being on board. So it's a real run walk. So we look forward to persons participating in this venture, which will go towards a good charity. So these are some of the photos from the last event. And at the end of the event, refreshments will be served, as well as entertainment. So in a few days or a week or so, we'll be celebrating Jamaica's 60th. And so we have been doing some things here at the airport in celebration of this. One such event, we have launched a staff competition and called Culturama. So one section of this is showcasing some items of the past. And as you can see here, not sure how many persons are able to identify some of these products here outlined, but we have these in the terminal, and it's just amazing to see when passengers pass by, just the interaction, them trying to see if they know what these products are or what they're used for, etc. So this is something that's on now in the terminal. A part of the competition also is music and dance competition from the 60s. So we have companies who will be participating in this, just showcasing dance and music from the 60s, as well as a fashion show segment. We'll also have other entertainment. Again, Mr. Monroe spoke earlier of community involvement, and we will have items being rendered from the flanker primary and junior high school, as well as the White House Early Childhood Center, as well as a performance from the White House community in general. So this is a photo of an event we had in the past, but again, we will try to ensure that we capture the Jamaican folk form in celebration of our Jamaica independence. We have also been speaking with the Ministry of Culture, and we actually have some of the agencies who will be on site actually today installing some display units around the airport. Again, just showing some with artifacts. We have some displays on the digital screens showcasing, just historical events and celebration of Jamaica 60. These are some images that we had here at the airport, and some of them that we are showcasing, whether in the airport as well as on social media. So this is actually from the 1950s when Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth visited the airport in Montego Bay. Don't know if anybody is on who remembers what the terminal building looked like. So this is in the 1960s with just one terminal that was the entire airport. And this is from the 70s when we were using the stairways and not jet bridges as we have them today. So, some persons may have no recollection or knowledge of, just these types of things that were from the past, because they have been so accustomed to what we now have. And so we just share these images as part of the celebration. So it's celebrating Jamaica 60th, but also celebration of the airport, the developments that have taken place here on airport. And we invite you all to follow us. We are on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, as well as a contact email should you have any questions, queries, any interest in any of the retail program, as well as any of the events that we mentioned. So we thank you, and we will now move to the question and answers section.
The first question we have, when will the work on the covering for the Arrivals Hall bus park be started? Specifically, a temporary cover prior to the start of the rebuild of the arrival area. Shane, will you take this?
Sure. As mentioned, that area is now under design. Those should be finalized next month. And the arrivals canopy will start to be constructed in the third quarter of this year.
signage at the entry to the arrivals hall from the customs area is grossly inadequate in identifying the various providers in the arrivals hall and needs to be upgraded.
Sure. Thank you for that question. One of the things that you will notice now throughout the entire airport is that we are implementing a new signage program. We worked with a consultant to develop that program, and we are rolling out that signage now. All new signage throughout the airport, that's being replaced and upgraded, so that should address this issue as well.
When is the electronic immigration system going to be implemented for Jamaica Customs?
All right, I understand we have another question. Let me just read that question there. Okay, so we'll go to the second question there. This is a major strategic development. This is from Patrick Prendergast. This is a major strategic development, beautiful commendations on the experience and aesthetic considerations, in addition to the economics of the industry and commitment to sustainable development goals. Their question is, how does this fit into the overall city of Montego Bay generally, and specifically in addressing the immediate challenges with traffic congestion? Okay, so there are two parts to this question. In terms of how does this fit into the overall future of the city of Montego Bay, of course, the airport is or has direct and indirect benefits to the community. A large, over 7,000 persons are employed directly at the Sangster International Airport, and tourism is the main industry in Montego Bay. So certainly as the traffic grows, and we are talking about growth and development of Montego Bay and for the country, then certainly the airport has to match, or the facilities has to match that growth. And that's really our focus here in terms of development. In terms of traffic congestion, one of the things that we were very mindful of, and we know that the government recently launched the project for the Montego Bay bypass. What that will do is bring traffic from the east, mainly from the Rose Hall Iron Shore area, towards the airport, and we expect more traffic from that end. As a result, part of our plan and what we're executing now is to develop a new entrance into the airport from the east. So you will no longer need to go to the airport roundabout, you'll be able to enter the airport from the east. Additionally, we have part of our plan is to introduce a new entrance to the airport from the west of the Godfrey Dyer Boulevard that again will allow for cars and vehicles to enter the airport off that Godfrey Dyer Boulevard and not have to head directly to the airport roundabout. Within the airport as well, part of the challenge that we have when the arrivals traffic increases during the peak is the mixing of departures and arrival traffic. And the landside work that we're doing will create actually two separate loops within the airport, one for departures traffic, so you won't have to go to arrivals. If you're just dropping off someone and exiting the airport, you'll be able to bypass arrivals. Similarly, if you're going to arrivals, you won't have to go to departures. So certainly we are working with the local parish council, the NAA, and all of these developments to ensure that what we do is integrated into the development plan for Montego Bay.
Okay, so there are some other questions here.
We have one question here. When is the electronic immigration system going to be implemented for Jamaican citizens? So we know that PICA is working in this area. A few points here is the Entry Jamaica system, or enterjamaica.com, that allows for electronic filing of the declaration form. And they are also, we are aware of, working on integrating that system with the self-service kiosks so that you will not have to complete that C5 form on arrival. This is something that is in work in progress, but we know that PICA is still working on this, and I'm sure that it will extend to Jamaican citizens as well. And we have another question: will the departures area where the cars pull up and the passengers dropped off be covered in the future? Absolutely, that is our intention. As shown in the rendering, we'll have a major part of the development is a canopy that will run all the way from the front of the building, from departures across the new outbound immigration area and inbound immigration, outbound security area, and coming right around to the arrivals area as well. Another question we have here, I might have missed it. Okay, have we a deadline for the demolition and reconstruction of the restroom in the baggage claim area? So this is an active project now. As mentioned, all our restrooms are being renovated this year. We already started with the one in the CPA. We are now moving, or have moved already, to the one in the public arrivals area. And in a few weeks, we'll move on to the one in baggage claim and GTH arrivals as well.
Are there any more questions?
I believe that's it. I see one more question regarding the runway.
When will the runway extension?
Okay, I believe one of the questions there was, when will the runway extension works be tendered? Well, actually, that project is in construction now, and that will be completed by second quarter of 2023. All right. We have another question. What impact will the work have on the Welcome to Montego Bay sign? So just to make a distinction here, we have two different signs. There's the Welcome to Montego Bay sign that is at the public roundabout, right, of Queens Drive. This work will not impact that signage that's on the public road. We have an internal sign that says, I love Montego Bay, quite iconic. And that is where the fountain is today. That sign will be relocated, and the entire area, of course, fountain area will have to be demolished for the immigration expansion. Do we have any more questions? Okay, thank you. All right, so more on the service station works or relocation. So this is a two-phase plan. Firstly, we'll have an internal service station for airside vehicles that cannot go on the public road and need to be refueled. We are in the final stages of that negotiation with the service provider, and they'll start work in the next few months on establishing that internal service station. That will allow us to close the existing Texaco service station that's near the public car park. That will be closed, and that area will become part of the parking for public parking. And following that, we're also working to finalize the plans for a new service station that will be accessible from the Godfrey Dyer Boulevard. So that service station will be on airport lands, but accessible from Godfrey Dyer Boulevard. If we have no more questions, I will turn over to Camille.
Thank you, Shane. I think we have reached the end of our program for today. If you wish to review a recording of the forum, it will be posted on our website, www.mbjairport.com, for those who may want to review the presentation or to go over some of the questions and answers. And it is available for streaming on YouTube. Thank you so much for attending our airport forum. We appreciated having you, and as always, you can reach out to any member of our team if there are any other questions or comments that you would like to share with us. I want to extend my gratitude to the chairman of AAJ for attending this meeting, to the Airports Authority of Jamaica, Mr. President Audley Diedrich, and his executive team, as well as the members of the board, the senior members of the various public and private sector entities who do business with the airport. Thank you so much, and have a great rest of the day.